Hey YouTube, I'm Jess. Welcome back to my channel. We're gonna do a chatty get ready with me today, and I'm just gonna start getting ready and not chat and blabber on for this intro. I wanna just get right into things. I'm gonna start with my eyes and I'm going to prime with a little bit of my Laura Mercier eyeshadow primer. In today's video, I wanted to talk about something specific with you guys, and the reason I thought of this video was because I've seen and heard a lot of people posting and talking about how they can't wait for 2020 to be over, and 2020 has been the worst year ever, and like fuck 2020 and all of this stuff, right? There is no denying that 2020 has been a really different year, and it's been a really bad year and a really hard year. However, I want to talk today about all of the positive things and all of the good things that have happened to me during 2020, either because of 2020 or just happened to be during this year. Because I'm the type of person who really likes to look at things with sort of a half glass full kind of mentality. I like to look for the positives in every situation. I don't like to focus on the negatives. In my past life, as a younger person, I was very much a really super negative person. I always had really negative thoughts. I was the type of person who was like, I hate other people. Everyone is so annoying. I just kind of lived in this really negative space. And over the years, I've really come to embrace positivity. I just feel like it makes me such a happier person, and I have such a happier life when I focus on the positives of things instead of the negatives. So I wanted to just do this little chatty get ready with me today and talk about all of the positive things that have gone on in this year. I'm wearing my yellow sweater because yellow is a happy color. I'm gonna use my Metropolis palette by Natasha Denona today. So some of the positive things that happened to me in 2020 that I'm gonna talk about today are like more sort of like deep and meaningful things, and some of them are just more sort of like accomplishments. And one of those things is the fact that I was able to learn to drive standard. So just a little backstory on me and driving. I got my license, my learner's license in Alberta when I was 14 years old, which is when you're first allowed to get it. I got my full license in Alberta when I was 18. After I moved away from Alberta, I moved to BC, and my license expired, and so I had to get it renewed. When I got my license renewed in BC has sort of a graduated driving system. So you get your learners, then you become a new driver, and then you become a full driver. So because I hadn't had my full license in Alberta for longer than 2 years, the BC government forced me to take an N license, which is like a new driver license which comes with restrictions. I wasn't really driving when I was living in BC. I didn't really have a car. I had a friend who had a car, and I would drive her car every once in a while, but it didn't really bother me having that N license because I wasn't really driving anyways. Then when I moved to Ontario, the same thing happened again. My license expired out here, and when I went to renew it, they also have a graduated driving system here, so they gave me the mid-range license in Ontario that's equivalent to the new driver license in BC, which I think is my G1 license in Ontario. So that was 5 years ago when I got that. That license requires me to take another road test. So it's a highway road test for highway driving. And I had 5 years to take that test. And the problem was that the only car I really had access to out here. Okay, I just got up to adjust my camera, and then I sat back down and did a bunch more chatting, and I hadn't pressed record again. So I just kind of finished up that upper part of my eyes. I used this green in the palette here to do a little liner with. The only car I had access to practicing with was a standard car. Will has always driven a standard car. When I first met him in Vancouver, he was driving a standard car, and literally 10 years ago when we first met in Vancouver, Will was teaching me how to drive standard. The thing is, when you are driving standard. For me, it was really difficult to learn. It has taken me a lot of practice to get where I am, and I'm definitely not perfect. But when I was first learning, I would learn, we would drive around for a bit, and then I wouldn't drive again for months or years. And so the next time I went to get in the car, I would have forgotten everything that I had learned before, and it was like I was starting from scratch. So that was going on for years. And then finally 2020 comes around. Will and I are at the cottage. We were up there for 3 months straight when we first went into lockdown, and there wasn't a lot to do up there. So one of the things that I did while we were up north during our first lockdown was I learned how to drive standard. It was the perfect learning environment for learning how to drive because first I practiced on the cottage roads, and there wasn't really anybody up there. So I had all these cottage roads basically to myself to practice and to learn without having to deal with too much traffic or downtown pedestrians or anything like that. And then once I was comfortable on the cottage roads, I was able to just jump right on the highway. The cottage was right by the highway, and practice the highway driving, which is what my final road test will be on. So it was kind of the perfect scenario for learning and practicing because we had nothing but time and we were in a great environment to do it. I was able to get enough practice in to the point where once lockdown ended and I was able to start working again, I was able to drive myself around to jobs this summer. In the past, Will used to drive me to all of my jobs, and he would either wait for me in the area, like go to a coffee shop and do work, or he would come home and then drive back to pick me up. So that was really great. That made me feel really great and independent, being able to drive myself to jobs and to get myself around. Really good for Will because it freed up a bunch of time for him. My license did end up expiring. My road test had been scheduled for June and it was canceled, and then my license expired. So it was canceled because of COVID, obviously. The Ontario government said that no one will lose their license due to COVID, so I'm not too worried about the fact that my license expired and I wasn't able to take my road test because obviously it wasn't my fault and I had been booked in for one that was canceled. I know they're booking like many months down the line, and I feel like having an actual date set will force me to get out and practice the last few things that I need to practice before I take my test. I'm quite comfortable with highway driving and all of that type of thing. I need to practice more parking, especially like parallel parking, but just parking in general. And we have been going out and doing a little bit of parking practice, but I think having the actual date for the test set will really kind of force us to get out there and do that so that I can just go and be super comfortable and confident and take my test and not have to worry about taking a driving test ever again, because this has been going on for literally years of my life. So yeah, super stoked, super excited, so happy to have finally, after 11 years of practicing, gotten the time and had the opportunity to really learn how to drive a standard car and to really learn that new skill and to set myself up for success when it comes to taking my road test. So one of my goals for 2020 was to learn how to drive standard because I had to take my test by June. Another one of my goals, pretty much my main goal for 2020, was YouTube related, and that was to double my subscriber count on YouTube. I'm just gonna move on to complexion here. I'm gonna prime my skin with the Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer. I had 200 subscribers at the end of 2019, and my goal was to double my subscriber count, so to get to 400 this year. And I reached that goal. So the one sort of major goal that I had for the year, I was able to reach. I actually did it early. I did it by the end of November. We're already like, at the time of filming this right now, I think I'm around 438, 437 subscribers. So it's possible I'm gonna actually hit 500 subscribers by the end of 2020, which would just be like above and beyond what I wanted to get to. And that's so cool and so exciting for me. Another goal that I had for 2020 that I was able to achieve because of 2020 was being more consistent in uploading on Instagram. I find Instagram really difficult. To come up with content and post every single day on Instagram is hard to do. And I'm sure any of you guys who have tried to do a business Instagram or who try to post frequently on Instagram will know what I mean when I say that. It's just tough. And that was something that I really worked into my work schedule. I started to treat Instagram more like work as opposed to like a hobby or like social media for fun. For my foundation today, I think I'm gonna use the Lancome Tint Miracle foundation. I feel like the color might actually work for me right now. Yeah. So this year I started scheduling posting on Instagram into my daily planner. And that really enabled me to achieve what I wanted to achieve on Instagram this year, which was regular posting. I am doing that on my beauty channel, or on my beauty Instagram, so my makeup Instagram, Just Hinky Makeup. That's where I am focusing all my effort right now. I don't post on my personal Instagram page as much. I do more stories there. That's a goal that I'm gonna have for 2021, is just posting more on both of my Instagrams. Now that I've got the Just Hinky Makeup page down into more of a habit and more of a routine, I think I can incorporate a second account into that as well. So I was able to achieve that goal for myself this year as well, which is another really positive thing that has come out of 2020. And I have to say that the fact that I was able to meet my subscriber count and the fact that I was able to spend more time on Instagram came from the fact that 2020 gave me more time in general. It gave me more time for everything. I wasn't allowed to work in 2020 for the most part. And so I had so much time off, and I kind of struggled with that at the beginning when we were in our first lockdown up at the cottage. I didn't have a lot to do. I didn't have a lot to work on, and I really, really struggled with that. That was kind of the most down and like negative I felt all year, was during sort of April, May, June, when we were up at the cottage and we were just kind of getting used to lockdown life and the new way of life, and I had all this time and I didn't know what to do to fill it up with. And so at first that was kind of a negative thing for me, but I was able to kind of transform that and transition that into seeing it in a more positive way, which was that suddenly I had all of this time to do everything that I've been wanting to do for years and have put off because I've been lazy, put off because I felt like I didn't have enough time to do them. When we got back from the cottage in June, I went into video production mode. I had so much time, so much inspiration, so many ideas, and I was able to upload 3 times a week on this channel, and I was able to upload content that I was really happy with and content that I was really proud of and content that wasn't rushed, because I had nothing to do but create content. I was able to upload on TikTok. Like I just talked about, I was able to upload on Instagram so much more frequently. And content creation is what I really enjoy and what I really like to do. And it's something that I would like to do for a full-time job eventually. Hopefully I can get there. I need to build my audience first, which is why my goals are to increase my subscriber count. It's not like a vain thing that I just want more subscribers or more followers on Instagram. It's that having those subscribers and having that community and that following will help me be able to transition from being a freelance makeup artist into being a content creator, which is kind of like my end goal. I really love working for myself and being creative and literally creating content. Like I just love it. It's so much fun for me, and I love the freedom that it brings and the ability to travel and to make my own schedule and do my own thing and be my own boss. Like those are all things that I'm working towards when it comes to content creation. This year, I was able to literally live like a content creator, like as if this was my full-time job. That was what I was able to do this year, is just create what I wanted, when I wanted, do the work that I wanted to do, have my own schedule, not be working around work. And it has just been an absolute blast for me. It has shown me that, yeah, this is what I actually want to do. And I always kind of thought like this is what I wanted to do, but I wasn't really doing it full time before. And now that I've been able to do it full time, I know that like this is what I want to be spending my time doing. This is what I want to do like for work. And 2020 has given me this time. 2020 has given me the time I needed to do what I've been wanting to do. Because I was able to upload more frequently, because I was able to upload higher quality content, because I was able to be more engaged on my social media, on my Instagram, and on my comments and things, I feel like that really attributed to me reaching my goals in terms of subscriber counts and growing my pages. And just having all of that time to do these things has been so valuable and beneficial and amazing for me. I was just saying to Will the other day, like, I don't know what other people are doing with all of the time that they have. Like my friends who are makeup artists too, or who work in retail that have had all this time off, like, what are they doing? What are people spending their days doing? When I wasn't doing this, when I wasn't working on this during the first lockdown, I just felt so lost and depressed and sad, and having this to work on and build and grow has been so beneficial for me. So I had time to work on YouTube, I had time to work on Instagram, I also had time to work on our house. So we live in a really old apartment, and if you guys watch my vlogs or if you know me in person, you know that I love to complain about our apartment. It's something that, I don't know, just needed some work and needed a little bit of love, and I never had the energy or felt like putting in the effort to give it the love that it needed to be a more livable space. So 2020 and being locked down kind of gave me all of this time that I've been talking about, and I was able to spend some of that time on doing some tasks around the house that just made living here so much better. So for example, we have lived in our apartment for 10 years and we never had hooks in the bathroom to hang towels up on. So we always just hung our towels on the cupboard, over the closet, or like over top of doors. And so we always just had like towels hanging all over our house, and like my bathrobe and stuff would like hang on the closet in our bedroom. And I hated that, especially when I would started vlogging around my house and I would see them like hanging up behind me. It just looked so messy and cluttered, and I want to live in like a clean, tidy space. And I felt like not having somewhere to hang our towels just really got in the way of that. But I never did anything about it. And then 2020 came around and I had all this time. So I was like, you know what? Like, let me just order some hooks off Amazon. We ordered some hooks, drilled them into the wall, and now we can hang up our towels in the bathroom, and it's a whole new world. It's just, it makes my day-to-day life so much better and so much easier. And I'm not calling to Will after the shower asking him to bring me a towel from another room. Like, it's just been so good. We've had a lot of things kicking around our house that I've been talking about selling for years. We had a second couch just drifting around our apartment that I've been wanting to get rid of for literally years, but I never just took the time to set up a post online and like get it out of the house. We got rid of that. We got rid of the air conditioner that we picked up in the summer that we could never get to work for us. We got rid of this old computer monitor that we've been storing in our house for literally 10 years that we've been wanting to get rid of. I just was able to do these little tasks and these little chores around the house that just feel so good to get done and that make our day-to-day life here better. Sort of the last thing that I could think about that I was given thanks to all of this time in 2020 was the summer that I had with my friends. So I spent the majority of this summer outside because we weren't really hanging out with people indoors. So I spent days during the middle of the week in the park with my friends, drinking coolers, eating snacks, chatting, spending the day together outside in the sun, going to the beach, going for walks, just doing all of these outdoor activities that, you know, of course in the summer you're gonna do that once or twice, maybe a couple times, but I spent the entire summer with my friends outdoors. We're never gonna get an opportunity like that again. It felt like a summer that you have when you're in school. So when you're in school, you have summer vacation and you get to spend the days, during the weeks with your friends. You get to be outside, you get to be running around doing things. That's what this summer felt like. It felt like we were having a summer vacation from school. That is such a unique thing that we're never gonna have again. I really had such a great summer outdoors with my friends. I'm just gonna fill my brows in really quickly. I'll be right back. So then the last thing that I could think about when it came to the positive things that came out of having more time in 2020 was the time that I got to spend with Will. So in 2018, Will and I went to Thailand for 2 months. And when we came back, everyone would ask us, so how was the trip? Did you guys have a good time? Blah, 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 whatever, asking us how the trip was. And I would make this joke that I got to spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 months with Will, so it was amazing. I mean, I'm not gonna speak for him, but I love like just spending time with Will. I have always been like that. I never get sick of him. Obviously, I like having my alone time and like having my time, you know, whether it's like in the evenings when Will's playing video games and I'm in the bedroom like watching YouTube, or like in the morning when I'm doing my little morning routine by myself. Like obviously I like being by myself too, but I just love like being with Will and spending time with Will. So that was that joke that I made in 2018 when we came back from Thailand. And 2020 has basically been the extended version of that. Will and I have been together pretty much every single day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day since the middle of March. He's literally sitting on the other side of this ring light right here, right now. And it's been that way every single video that I've been filming for the entire summer. Like, I mean, I don't know if anyone personally, but I know from seeing online, people have struggled a little bit with their relationships and having extra time with their partners, but for us it's only been positive and only been a good thing. Will's been growing his businesses and I've gotten to be beside him through all of that, so I get to see everything that he has going on with his work, and I get to literally like just be a part of it just because I'm here, I'm present while it's all going on. And that's something that I really love, and I love being involved in that part of his life and getting to know like all the ins and outs of that. And if you guys have been following along with any of my videos lately, then you'll know that this year, after basically 11 years of dating, Will and I got engaged. He asked me in between the lockdowns, so after the first one, before the one that we're currently in, at a restaurant with some of our closest friends there, and it was really special and something that I wasn't expecting, that kind of took me by surprise. And that is something that we're always going to remember about 2020. And of course, obviously, that is a positive, amazing, happy thing that has happened for us in 2020. And I think that would have happened this year anyways, whether or not the pandemic was going on. But yeah, it was special because of the way we had to do it. It was November and we were on a patio at a restaurant, which I feel like normally wouldn't have happened. And we got to spend the whole day again outside in the park with our friends, and we probably wouldn't have done it that way either. So 2020 just kind of shaped and molded that day into something really special and unique that we are gonna remember forever. I'm going to just pop on a little bit of lipstick here. I was looking through all my Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks and I was like, you know what? Let me pick a non-Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. Use something different for once. I'm gonna use this guy right here from Maybelline. This used to be my favorite lipstick before I even really got into makeup. When I just first started watching YouTube, the Maybelline lipsticks were so popular. And yeah, you can see I've used this one almost completely up and it's starting to smell a little funky. So let's try to use this guy up before it goes completely off. I'm gonna line my lips with Soar from MAC. And this color is called Crazy for Coffee. It's number 275. It's definitely gone off. I'm gonna have to get rid of it after this. It's like barely even creamy anymore. It's like hard to put on. Such a pretty color though. And I think I'm just gonna pop on a little bit of this Walk of Shame lip gloss. Walk of No Shame lip gloss by Charlotte Tilbury. Right in the center. Cause it needs a little moisture because that lipstick was so dried out. All right, you guys, so here is the finished look. I hope you guys liked this sort of little chatty video. I just wanted to make a video about you know, positivity and happiness and gratitude. And just, I feel like a lot of people can kind of get dragged down and sucked into the negativity of things. And I've just found it so beneficial in my own life over the past few years to just really work on my mindset and work on being more of a positive person and just looking on the bright sides of things. It's not always easy to do, and it's a lot harder when you first start out, but I think it's so valuable and definitely worth practicing. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't yet, please make sure you subscribe. Help me get to that 500 mark by the end of the year. That would be so amazing for me. If you did subscribe to my channel this year, or if you've been subscribed to my channel since before 2020, thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate you so much. I would love it if you guys would leave me a comment down below and just tell me something positive that either happened to you in 2020, that happened because of 2020, that happened during 2020. Just leave me something positive about 2020 in the comments down below. I would love to hear what's going on with you and help you just to feel the gratitude and the happiness and the positivity and the gratefulness that I feel as well. So leave me a comment with that down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'm gonna see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.